Okay, thank you very much for being here. Today we are going to speak about a new Agile Planner which has been made available to the Eclipse community. And I will introduce a few things related to the way we work with the customers before, and at the end you will have a demonstration. Okay. I am Laurent Laurent, and I'm CEO and co-founder from Enalean. Enalean will tell you a few words about it afterwards. And in addition to the Eclipse Planner, Eclipse Agile Planner, we're going to talk about open source as well. And I am in the business of open source since quite a while now. And this is an important point of my career.
Okay, and I am Laurent Laurent from Obeo. So I've been a software engineer at Obeo for more than 7 years now, and an open source user and lover for more than 15 years. And well, that's about all. We'll talk a bit about our companies right now.
Enalean, just a few words about the company. We are a software vendor and we are developing the Tuleap Open ALM. Today, one of the particularities is that we are in the business of open source tools and only open source tools. And one of the most important things about our company is that we have two pillars in the, I would say the core value of the company is agility and open source. And this is all about what we're going to talk today.
Okay, and Obeo, maybe some of you know Obeo. So we are an Eclipse strategic member, a small French company of 56 people currently. We have many customers, among which some of them are listed here. And we are specialized in Eclipse modeling, so we offer products, either open source or commercial products, based on Eclipse modeling. And, well, please come and see us at our booth outside.
So let's say a few words about Tuleap. Tuleap is an ALM. It's a set of tools on a software forge, also called a software forge. It's a set of tools which aims to cover all the services you implement when you're doing software, from requirement to the end of life, including everything. And it is based on open source tools, and today we are going to talk about how Tuleap covers the agility, how Tuleap is connected to Eclipse regarding the agility, and the way we work. We are happy to have a customers that allow us to do that, because actually the partnership is a partnership between 3 companies, Obeo, Enalean, and Ericsson as well, which is today represented by Dominique. We'll say a few words about it. And it's important to understand what we wanted to do at the beginning. Ericsson had some strategy related to open source and agility, and wanted to deploy the tools to deploy the agility across the company. You all know what agility provides in terms of software development. And there were also some objective related to the user experience and improvement of how the developer actually use tools in agility. Ericsson is using Tuleap related to all the services, some of the services Tuleap covers, and we had a specific focus on how Tuleap could be enhanced to provide agility, and how the developers, because they use Eclipse in their everyday life, how the developers could have the management of the agile project from their Eclipse platform. This is what you're going to show today. I said that already. And yes, go on. The challenge behind this was to enhance Tuleap to provide the missing features, especially the API which allows to connect to Eclipse. And as in Enalean, our core business is software engineering, is web-based application, is everything related to this. We were not specialists of Eclipse, so we joined, Obeo joined us to join this partnership to provide the expertise in everything related to Eclipse.
Exactly, as a technological partner, specialist in Eclipse development.
Now start the real conference about this 3-way partnership. Agility in the development, how we work between 3 companies following agile approaches in the R&D. Agility in business, how how the business between the three companies could work with and following the Agile principle as well. And this is what we're going to show you right after. Yes? First of all, the Enalean works with all these customers following at the Agile principle with something we call the open roadmap. And what is the open roadmap? Actually, the open roadmap is a kind of crowdfunding facilities provided to the customers. It's B2B cross-funding. The general principle is that the customers subscribe to some R&D capacity, and actually the customer purchase story points. And with those story points, they put in the basket according to their priority, their need, their missing features, there's a set of things. We work and we do the work on the Tuleap platform following the Agile approaches, which means important interaction with the customer, important interaction with the final users, early delivery, frequent delivery. And as we are also in open source, what we do, what we provide regularly from the customer request is provided to all the other customers, whether they subscribe to this or not.
And actually provided to anybody, not only customers.
And this is an interesting way to fund open source and to fund open source development while providing something which is in the hand of the end users very quickly and very frequently. Concretely speaking, how does it work with Ericsson? You know, I think I consider that most of you are familiar with the Agile principle. The customers are subscribed to the development capacity and request and fill the backlog. According to the capacity, actually, we take the most important things and put that in the release plan. We work and we develop the things in Scrum-based approach, and we deliver every month for the final release, and our sprints are 2 weeks long. So every month we package the new version of the product, whether it is an extension in Tuleap or a development by Obeo to the Eclipse plugin. And very, very important point is that every month we have regular meeting with the customer, because we want to make sure that what we provide, they know what we provide. They want to make sure that they can give some feedback about what we did. They want to make sure that what we actually did is something useful for them. And we directly talk to the end user, to the customer's customer somehow. We directly talk to the end user to make sure that what we have provided within the months is what they actually like. And we reassess the priority. Reassessing the priority is something which is very important in our approach. It means that, do we need to change? Did we have enough in what we currently provided? Maybe sometimes we simply assess that we don't need to go further in that direction. We should use the capacity to do something more important. Or sometimes we decide that finally we did not make it well and we need to further work on what has been delivered today. The partnership comes to be very, very efficient in our opinion, and this is what we wanted to tell you today. We started last year, and to be able to provide within 9 months something which is in production at industrial class features, no beta phase, because all the progressive increment made it pretty stable and pretty relevant to what the customer wanted. And actually, in 9 months, we think that it was very efficient and the most efficient actually way of work we have ever faced, because in that amount of time, the things are actually in the end user's hands. Now, because you are here for Eclipse, are you? The implementation is Eclipse, and this is what Laurent is going to show you afterwards. The implementation of Eclipse looks like this. You will have something which allows you to manage the artifacts, manage the elements from your Eclipse, manage your planning, manage your card wall, manage see your burden chart if you're working with Scrum or similar things directly from within Eclipse. And this, as it has been funded, this is available to you, and this is open source, and this could be used and reused as much as you want. It is part of the Eclipse marketplace, but you will say that afterwards.
Yes, of course.
Okay?
Okay. So just maybe a few words before I start the demo. So since this is open source, everything is available online, so don't hesitate to visit these sites, and you can also, of course, test it and give feedback on the Tuleap.net site, open bugs or this kind of things. Okay, so demo time. I think I have to be very fast. I just want to show quickly what Tuleap looks like on the web. So as you understood, it's a web application that allows you to manage all the ALMs. So you have bug trackers and all kinds of trackers. You can manage a wiki, you can manage your documents, mailing lists, about everything. Connect to your Git, Gerrit, Subversion, continuous integration, and so on. And today I'm going to show just the Agile part. So the Agile Dashboard allows you to plan your releases, cut your releases into sprints, and decide which backlog items you will implement in which sprint, and so on. So you arrive on the Agile Dashboard, which is this screen showing what's going on currently. So you can see that currently we are working on release 1.2, and the current sprint is sprint 3. Okay, and well, clearly for people who work on sorry for this pop-up, who work on the project, the page where they spend most of the time is the card wall, which is mainly the main dashboard for developers on the project, where they will manipulate their cards, possibly create new cards if some tasks appear, and so on. So this is what the website looks like, and let's see now within Eclipse. So within Eclipse, you first have to tell Eclipse that you want to connect to some server. So you have a small property page, a small wizard page, when you can enter the URL of your server and your personal account information and HTTP authentication, this kind of things. Okay, and from now on you can start getting data from the server to display information. So you have to create queries which will actually fetch some information from the server. For example, you can get the bugs. So I'm just going to create a query to retrieve all the bugs that are open on the Agile Planner, on the Agile project. So here I say I want to retrieve the tickets from the tracker bug and use some report, and I retrieve the list of bugs that are currently known in the system. So this is just bug tracking, right? There's nothing agile in here. This is traditional and nothing new here. Now let's see a bit. I would like to see the current sprint. So I'm going to create a new query to get the current sprint or sprints. There may be several because you can have several teams working in parallel. So I'm just going to ask for the current sprints. Okay, of the Agile project, I could ask I have access to all these projects, only the Agile project is configured with Agile features. So that's why I only use this one. And this time I'm going to use a custom query which will allow me to enter some, I want the sprints, and I can enter some criteria of research to get only, for example, the current sprints. So sprints that are in the status current, okay? Okay, so as we saw on the website, there was only one sprint, one current sprint, which is okay the case here. And well, when I open these sprints, there it's sprint 3. I have a few information as usual, as if it was just a ticket in a tracker. But I have new tabs here that give me access to Agile features. So on a sprint, I can see the burn down chart here, and I can see the backlog with the user stories or anything that's put in the sprint, which is still open. So what's left to be done. And more interesting yet on the sprint, I have access here to the card wall, which is the same, of course, as on the website, and on which I can do my work. So mostly everybody on the project who's working with Eclipse will have this ticket always open and manipulate its tasks depending on what they're doing. So a few features on this card wall. You can filter cards. For example, I want to see the cards that are assigned to Richard, okay? Or I can see the cards that regard sound, okay? So filtering. You can, of course, move your cards from one column to another, depending on what you're doing. You can directly edit the cards to say, okay, this card is not assigned to anybody, I want to assign it to me, Richard. Yes, because I'm called Richard in this application, even though I'm Laurent, actually. And, well, anything you could expect from card manipulation, you can do here. And you can also create new cards on this card wall. The workflow is different from what's going on the web because of the Eclipse integration. So let's see, I want to create a new task for this user story because I realized that we forgot one important task for this user story. So under user stories, the configuration allows me to create tests or tasks. Now I want just to create a new task. Okay, so I have a new ticket that I can describe. So let's say it's going to start today. I can enter some details. And I want it to be in a to-do state and assigned to whom? To M. Keller. Okay, I'm going to submit this new task. Okay, it updates. Okay, so now this task is created. You could see it on the website, and my sprint still is not aware of anything because there is no live connection between your Eclipse and the website. Actually, you can work on your Eclipse, move cards and so on. The website is not aware of anything, the server isn't. You can work in the train without a network connection. You can do everything you want, and you arrive at your workplace, you plug in the network cable, and you just submit your changes or update your information, which is done regularly, automatically for you. And so now my task has appeared here in the to-do column because I said it was a to-do state for this card. And I can say, okay, I'm going to start working on this, and so on. Okay, so that's about all for cards. Do we have a bit more time for the demonstration, or?
I don't know where we are with the time.
Sorry? 80 minutes left. Okay, so I'm going to show you a bit more things very quickly. So Tuleap is highly configurable because there is not only one way to do Agile, of course, and each customer has its own processes and so on. So the configuration here is that I have different kinds of milestones. The first type of milestones is releases, and in my releases I can create sub-milestones that are sprints, okay? Some people just want to work with a backlog and sprints directly, others want to have more levels. This is just configuration. So here I could also retrieve the releases, and one last type of query I haven't shown is to bootstrap the topmost type of milestone. So we see here are the releases. I just have to ask for the top level planning, which will allow me to display the top level backlog and the top level milestones to put top level backlogs in these milestones. I don't know if I'm clear, so I hope the example will help. Okay. So here I have retrieved the top planning, which displays top-level backlog items, so items that are not assigned to any release, any sprint, anything, and top-level milestones here, which are releases. So from here, I could create, of course, new top-level backlog items. I could also create new milestones, a new release. Okay, I can create a new release from here, and so on. And in this screen, I can start saying, okay, release 1.4 is coming close, so what are we going to do? Well, we are going to assign the 4 most important backlog items here, and it's okay. I just have to submit that for the server to be notified, and so on. Yes, of course. How do you do the ranking in the backlog? So, okay, just doing it by drag and drop of items here. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I don't know if everybody heard the question, but mainly the Tuleap server is the repository which has all the information. So what you have locally in your Eclipse is just local to you as long as you haven't submitted it with this button. And the Tuleap server remains the one guardian of the information. So everything about ordering of backlog items and so on is stored on the Tuleap server. Okay, I think that's about all for the demonstration. So, any question? Yes? Oh, so the question is, can it be used outside of Eclipse? So, well, first you can, of course, use directly the website. The Eclipse plugin is just a facility to prevent, to help developers, to prevent them switching from the website to their IDE or from all the time. So here they have everything in one place. But of course, the website offers every feature about agile management that you could
We won't have much time now, but if you need any further information related to this, I'll be happy to show you in the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Can
Just
switch back to the slides?
Sorry. Yeah, I can come back to the slides. I just wanted to add one more thing before we come back to the slides. From a technical point of view, this has been developed with an architecture that should allow us to plug other tools than Tuleap to support agile management and have the same way of interacting with it within Eclipse. So anybody who would like to contribute in this way is welcome to come and talk to me. Okay. So back to the slides and back to Laurent.
Yes, just to conclude this demonstration here, the information where you could get all you need to try to test, to download, and everything else. This will be provided with the slides. And that's all for today. Maybe I could, if Dominic is representing Ericsson and who is the customer who has funded this. And one of the most important things is that the agility in the collaboration is what have been, which allowed to do that. But there's also one thing which is very important is the funding by the customer. And this is possible because the customer finds some value in this approach, and Dominic will give you a few words about this.
Yeah, so for us it was quite useful because when we started to those agile initiatives, we started with things like that where we had, Post-it and things on the wall. But it was a bit hard to do this when we had teams that were in different continents. So being able to have this online like this was really helpful for us. And we really also enjoyed the fact that the way it works is that you have a sprint with Enalean and Obeo, and those things are coming month after month. So if you need something new, you can put it in their request system, and then the next month you can have a new feature. So for us it was really, really important at the beginning because we had a lot of new things coming in, and it was really different for us and really refreshing to see this compared to the old way of working where we had a proprietary tool vendor and we were doing a request for enhancement, and we send it to them, and then we were waiting like a year, 2 years before getting something new. So this is really interesting for us. So if you have questions regarding this, you can also catch me in the corridor.
And this is because it works very well that the customer has value, is because it has value that is funded, and because the customer funds it, it is open source. And this is also a virtuous cycle of this approach. Any further question? I don't know how much time we still have.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time and your attention. Please try and think to vote. It's important for us, it's important for you, it's important for the conference. So whether you liked it or not, just tell the conference so that they know who to invite and who not to invite. Thank you.